Factory Podcast, Mastering the Mind and Market.
That I wanted to give up. But when it's in you, it's in you. When it's in you and not on you, you can keep going. Because the way I look at it, fashion is a vehicle to you as a person. When you feel good about yourself, life is a lot easier and better.
How do you juggle it all?
That's another story altogether.
Okay, Lino, we are here today to discuss a little bit about your journey.
Okay.
You know, all businesses, all business owners, entrepreneurs have a journey, right? There's an origin story. There's a moment in time when maybe you had an idea, and here we are. So give us an idea of that origin story.
Well, basically, it started off with me back in our days, looking at GQ magazine and different magazines. And what was the other magazine? Maxim. Maxim. Yep, Maxim.
I remember Maxim.
GQ magazine. Yeah. And I found a Big Pony shirt, without naming names, but we know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
A Big Pony shirt that I liked. And back then, we didn't have the internet. That was pre-internet time. So I went to all the stores, made several calls. No one had it. So I decided to go to a tailor. My father I'm from Panama.
Okay.
First generation here, migrant into this country. My father back in the day used to actually get his clothes custom made. So with me as well, we used to match and things like that. So just gave me the idea to go into a tailor and do it for myself. When I did it for myself, my friends and other people like that seen me and, liked what I wore and asked me where I got it from. And I would say I made it. So, of course, everybody, oh, yeah, right. You just don't want us to wear what you're wearing. Because I was I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was pretty well put together usually and things like that. So that's where it all began at that particular moment. From the tailor to the point where I began to notice that people really like the kind of flavor. Because the way I look at it, fashion is a vehicle to you as a person.
That's very true. There's a lot of people that even to this day don't believe that the clothes makes the man. And I think what you see is some of these internet heroes, the Mark Zuckerbergs and all that don't really ascribe to a high level of fashion. But what they don't recognize is that's a super tiny minority. That's 0.0000001, right? Everybody else, they show up with, if they're fully suited and booted, right? It changes the way you feel. It changes the way you act. So from that point, then you came to the US at some point in time.
Yes.
What made you continue with that same idea of making clothes?
Well, because all of my friends, it started off small, just in the neighborhood. My friends liked what I was wearing. I would tell them that I made it, but I had no tags, obviously, because I'm going to a tailor to get my stuff done. Right. I made one for one of my friends. One of my friends told another friend, and so on and so forth, till I opened up my own shop here in Tucson for a little while, till the stock market and everything started tanking in 2008, shut it down. I actually stopped designing and getting into fashion for a while. Family got in the way.
Yeah.
Then it's in my bloodlines. It's in my blood. I just one morning just woke up and decided I wanted to do it again. I wanted the creativity. Like I said, I believe it's fashion is a vehicle to you, your persona altogether. So that's basically the reason why I kept going with it. And I brought smile to people's faces. Like what you were saying, is good that you brought up Mark Zuckerberg, because basically that's a whole aesthetic in itself. The minimalist, simple look doesn't have to be a suit and tie to get your point across.
That's true. Now, you've done most of this while also being a full-time father, correct? Yeah. And you also work in the corporate world. How do you juggle it all?
That's another story altogether. Well, yeah, everything has its, how do I put it? You have to put everything where it needs to be put. In life, there's levels to everything. You have family time, you have business time, then you have fun time. You have to find a way. If this is your dream, you have to go with it. What I do late nights is the key word. No sleep.
Yeah.
18, 20 hours talking to manufacturers overseas, China, Pakistan. Now I'm starting to get into Mexico and trying to do some little fragrances and things like that.
Nice.
So late nights are my friends. Sometimes you don't know if it's day or night. You're just breezing through the day.
Nice. You know, there's a lot of people that use the word balance, right? You got to balance it all. I once worked for a kind of a hard driving CEO, that one of these guys that kind of had it all. He had the really good job, corporate job, the leader of a $150 million company. He had the beautiful wife, he had the kids, he had the house, he had the toys. He had it all, and he also did woodworking. And I asked him, Mark, how do you find the time? How do you balance it all? And he looked at me in the eye and he goes, Manny, balance is nearly impossible. It's all about harmony.
Mm-hmm.
All about harmony. And what's interesting about that word is it means that, you know, obviously these things can exist together, right? Just like an orchestra, you've got the percussion and the brass. It all has to kind of work together.
Mm-hmm.
And that word's interesting because when I first met you, I was at a place called Getaways, if you remember.
Yes.
And you showed me one of your fragrances. To me, or you demonstrated it to me, it was such a harmonious blend of just excitement, calm, clean, fresh. So why don't you talk about that fragrance, because that is the start of this conversation we're having here, right?
Yeah, you kind of have a point, right? Well, basically the fragrance, I have a fascination with fragrances. I don't know why. I have probably over 200 bottles in my collection.
Wow.
So if other people are going to put it out there, why not me? I know what I like to smell like. I love to smell nice. Like I said, in life, there's balances, like you say, harmony, and there's levels to everything. For each part of your life, you need a certain scent to flow with what you're doing. That's basically what got me into the fragrance world. Like I said, it ties into my clothing. You dress a certain kind of way, like how we discussed off camera about the scent, how you can see yourself on a yacht. This your words, not mine.
Yeah, exactly.
You took it over for me.
I heard that, and I just saw it. I was like, boom.
Right, you took it over for me from that point forward. And you're right. For me, it was an after shower smell or scent. You saw something different.
Yes.
And with your vision, I tied it into my vision, and I made it to what it is now. Well, I'm not going to let it out the bag yet.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that way of thinking.
So basically, the way that I'm looking at this is actually all new to me. I usually don't do interviews, but I saw your passion with business. You like startups, you told me, and things like that. So I figured, hey, like-minded people, harmony, like you said.
You know how that scent to you represented a certain element, and how when I smelled it, it represented a different element. Then we came together in a conversation. I had people over here, and we sort of, toyed with other ideas. That interplay, I think there's a lot of power there. And that's why, for me, this podcast is so important, because it really showcases that interplay, that dynamic. And as you remember, I don't know how old you are, you might be the same age, but as a kid growing up, we didn't have this social media, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have a lot. We had to piece together things from magazines, from TV, from newspapers, from stories, from people we talked to. So this new generation has a lot of opportunities in one way, but one thing that's been lost is the human connection. I've got teenage boys, and it's a challenge to get them engaged and get them kind of out and about. In your dealing with making these products and being a father, juggling the corporate world, how do you let go? How do you relax? How do you disengage and sort of return to that boyish mentality that gives you the courage and the drive to continue?
Bringing it back to what you said, we didn't have the internet. You had to be a people person. I people watch. People watching allows me to get in my bag, as the young kids say, and be able to design, create. That's really what gets me into that mode, and that allows me to, how do you put it, to relax and be within my element. I would have to say that would do it for me.
Interesting. So how do you handle when you got a lot of things going on, right? You've got corporate demands, you've got familiar demands, you've got suppliers that aren't returning your calls. how do you deal when there's a lot of chaos?
Well, when there's a lot of chaos, I have people like you and other friends who I talk to that are business minded, are like minded. I contact these people and I talk to them. You can't do everything on your own. Mm-hmm. You need a team. That's basically what I do in my time.
Right. A lot of entrepreneurs think that it's a lonely game, right? You're a one-man show, and it's you against the world. You're a crusade against the world. But the fact is, as you know, as you just stated, it's an effort that requires all of you. It requires friends, family, and it requires a lot. One of the things we talk about in the podcast is the idea of stoicism, right? Mm. You can't control the world, but you can control the world between your ears, right here. And has there been a moment in your journey where you wanted to give up and just walk away?
Several times. Like you said, there's in life, you never know what's going to hit you. You have divorce, you have business, you have corporate world. There's different levels to everything in life. I keep saying levels. I love that word, levels, mm-hmm. levels. Basically, once I had my family was one time. When I had to close down my shop years ago was another time that I wanted to give up. But when it's in you, it's in you. When it's in you and not on you, you can keep going. That's the way, my philosophy on it. If it's in you, it's in you. If it's in you, you can't pull it out.
Yeah.
If it's on you, you can take it off and get rid of it. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it.
That's a great answer there. So this is a question I like to ask that really gets people thinking. Mm-hmm. Imagine you have the attention of an 18-year-old Marcelino. What would you tell him about life?
Slow down. Slow down, Tiger. How's this the saying go?
Rome wasn't built in one day.
Exactly. There it is. Slow down. That's it. No other words. Just slow down.
Yeah.
If it's meant for you, it's meant for you.
That is one of the things I tell myself as well, because when we're 18, 19, 22, 25, we have this idea that we're running out of time. And the crazy thing is nobody is guaranteed tomorrow.
That is correct.
And yeah, that's a powerful message, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about your connections with Panama? You still have some strong connections there?
I do have local singers, musicians that are actually representing my brand right now. I have it in a couple stores down there. I'm actually recently started shipping merchandise down there as well, trying to break into Mexico and other different countries outside of the U.S. My stuff is very niche, like what we discussed off mm-hmm. camera. Normally I make 200 items or less, limited runs, mm-hmm. I would say. The reason why I do that is I don't want a lot of overhead.
It's true.
Also, I don't want stuff sitting around. I want people to wear it. I want people to buy it who are going to wear it, not to sit on it to resell. Definitely not at that level yet, but I don't want that to happen because I could foresee that within my designs and the way I envision my product. So right. For that reason, that's, why I do what I do.
So we talked a little bit about the present. We talked about the past. What about the future? Where do you see you and your brand in 10 years?
I see myself and my brand on the same table as other bigger brands. Not even bigger brands, I would say. I really, to be honest, want to stay in my niche. I want to stay in my lane. I don't want to grow too much because if I grow to that level, I'm designing for everyone. Who I'm designing for is the young male between 22 and 35 years old that likes to get away on weekends with a sporty twist, keeping his sporty side as he travels. That's why I said slow down. Mm-hmm. That's what I would tell my younger self. So for that reason, I probably would want to stick probably a couple more levels of where I'm at right now, but not any further. I'm not trying to make it to the Louis Vuittons and that level. I'm basically want to keep it strictly niche to the people who actually love what I make.
Right. I think a lot of people in business, they lose their anchor, right? They lose their foundation. And I think that, an anchor is an interesting concept because you're basically tethered to a spot, but there is a little bit of drift. right? One of the things we talk about at Perfectory, another thing, of course, is the idea of trends. Big global trends like AI, like the new way of work, right? The gig economy. There's so many trends. What would you say are some major disruptive trends in your industry that you see either to your benefit or to your detriment?
Well, detriment would be fast fashion. Fast fashion is cheaply made items that are just meant to be put out and sold. Go, 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 go. Back to what I'm saying, slow down. Once that happens, you're only going to get several wears out of it. Then you have to get rid of it, which means the consumer at the end of the day will be spending more. Whereas if they spend for not necessarily my items, because my items are a little bit more higher end, luxury price point, because they're actually tailored to that market. It's longer lasting.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of every year having to buy 2 or 3 shirts, you basically have one shirt that'll last you about 3 to 5 years. Fast fashion is not good for the environment. You're putting a lot of toxins into the earth. You're a lot of cotton, a lot of waste and things like that being wasted.
I can see that.
So that's not good for basically the world in general. The good side about what I'm doing with the fashion thing would be that I'm putting a smile on people's faces. Like you said, people don't think that what you wear, what you smell like, how you look, that actually, what's the word that I'm looking for? That actually brings you out to the core. It allows you to be you. It can put a smile on your face. Believe it or not.
I know it can.
You feel good. When you feel good about yourself, life is a lot easier and better. And you get more motivated. You get motivated with that.
100%.
That's basic.
So my closet is full of very nice clothes. I've got, 40, 50 dress shirts. I've got so much clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I chose specifically for this podcast, for all my podcasts, to wear a plain black shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Why I do so, because I want to showcase my guest.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the captain that will guide the conversation. But in the end, I want to be able to bring out and draw out the essence of the conversation. I mean, you've got wisdom. You've got young men and women that are going to be looking at this podcast. They're going to be dreaming. They're going to be thinking about, hey, I can do that too. So it's an inspiration. Speaking of inspiration, do you have any inspirations yourself in your life?
My inspiration is to make sure my loved ones are okay. I'm inspired by life itself. I'm here living it. You only have one life to live, like the young kids say, YOLO. And I believe in that. Do everything to the fullest. If you're going to do it to the fullest. No matter what anyone says, because you're the one living it. You can only blame yourself, or you can pat your own self in the back. Only you know what you're truly feeling.
Mm-hmm. Reminds me of Snoop Dogg. When he had that, you know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
He had a mantra. He had, they asked him, I don't know the context exactly, but he spent a good 1 or 2 minutes thanking himself.
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
And at first thinking, you're like, man, that sounds terrible. But really, it's a testament to the entrepreneur in him.
Yep.
I want to thank myself for working 14, 15-hour days. I want to thank myself for continuing when everybody told me that I shouldn't and couldn't. I want to thank myself for walking away from deals that I didn't want to do because it didn't feel good to me. And he went on and on and on. I think that is really powerful for people to really recognize, because that's success over the long term. You can have a quick success. You can fire up like a rocket, but you're going to come straight down with enough time.
That is correct. But if you're true to yourself, you can never go down.
100%.
Can never.
What do we got here to demonstrate? You got something to show?
Well, yes, this is one of my newest fragrances that I'm pushing out right there. What do you think?
It smells like sweet but musky in a balanced way, to use that word this time, balanced, because I think that you can recognize both.
Right.
And then there's a sort of a very higher end masculinity to it.
That is correct.
Anyway, those were my thoughts.
Your thoughts? Call it ocean drift. You actually said those words in our conversation right now.
Yeah.
That's the actual name of it.
Nice. Well, I didn't know that, but
I told you I'll tell you later.
yes.
So this one's called Ocean Drift. And this one right here, I'll actually let you open it.
I know that one pretty well. Yeah, that one is, it's clean. It feels, again, it has an ocean sunset feel to it, you know?
That's it.
And, this is the kind, you just got back from the yacht and you're getting ready to go out that night.
Your words, not mine.
That's what it smells like.
Your exact words.
Exactly.
Not mine.
So what do you see these fragrances? Are these your first 2 fragrances or have you done others?
I've done others. This is 3rd and 4th generation fragrances that I'm doing. These, again, my stuff is all niche. You're not going to find them in stores at the moment. The reason why you're not going to find them in stores is because my profit margins are not high to begin with, and they're very niche. Since I make a limited amount, now I'm talking as a businessman, not as friends talking at this particular moment. Whereas let's just say, obviously this isn't it, but let's just say it cost me $20 each one to make. If I sell it to a store, it'll be for $25 and they sell it for $50. Versus me making the item, pocketing the whole 25.
Got it.
So for that, and it's limited amounts. So I have to stay afloat. So for right now, unless if a nice deal comes and they allow me to be true to myself and to the product, would be the only way I would jump in the stores and things like that.
Tell our audience where they can find you and your products. How can they find you?
Well, normally every year we do pop-up shops all around the country. Right now, you can always find us on shoplino.robles.com. That's where you'll find us. And at different pop-up shops, you can follow us on Instagram to see the normal places that we would go to with our pop-ups. That's basically the 2 places you can find this is through the website or through our pop-ups at the moment, because we are in talks with different people that actually in Panama, we have a store right now that's selling our stuff. Obviously, it's not in the U.S., but we do have a shop that's actually carrying it overseas right now. We're testing the market at this particular moment to see where that goes.
Yeah, that idea of testing is something that they talk a lot about it in the startup world. And if you look at the more corporate world, they don't talk about it as much. I like that we're talking about that because you've got to know and you've got to shift, right? We talk a lot about the trends and some organizations and companies that did not shift. They didn't go where the market was going.
Right.
Sears, gone. Toys R Us, gone. Kodak, a former, a small part of its former self. I can go on and on and on, right? Yeah. And it's the companies that can adapt that really can go to that next level.
Right. And the aesthetic you got going on is a Mark Zuckerberg-ish right now.
Yeah.
He knows how to adapt. Basically, businesses are made to start, grow, sell. That's what business do. He knows and he adapts, right? He starts off with Facebook. He said, oh, this little company over here named Instagram sounds pretty good. Let me buy that. Oh, you know what? Free long distance calls. I'm not going to mess with Ma Bell. How about I buy WhatsApp?
Very true.
You have Snapchat. Oh, they're doing things with faces and features. You know what? Let's put that on Instagram. That's adaption. If I've ever seen.
No, 100%.
He's a genius with that.
100%. All right. So say you had the whole world, past and present. What 2 people would you have represent your brand? If you can choose anyone, anytime, from the Middle Ages until right now.
Wow. Frank Sinatra and Denzel Washington. Elegance.
Oh my, those 2 gentlemen. I mean, Frank had an edge to him, but he was so classy.
Yep.
he just had that certain way about him. I mean, you know, he's got a lot of backstory, but that's amazing.
Who doesn't?
And then Denzel, man, he is just quintessential. I mean, he's a man's man. He's a woman's man. He is his own man.
That's it. Class.
And very, very good, man. That's pretty amazing. So I guess a couple last questions, and then we'll wrap it up here.
Okay.
Give us a sense of some new areas you want to take your brand. You talked about bespoke, you know, very, very small quantities. Do you want to do anything different from what you're doing now?
Want to go overseas. Want to test those waters. Overseas. A lot of things overseas aren't as commercial from my travels. It's more mom and pop, which is where I want to be at. So that'll probably be the only difference for me personally, from a business standpoint. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to put smiles on people's faces, for them to enjoy what I make. Obviously, money and other things come. I'm not going to be a hypocrite or sound like one, you know, that comes with it. But in reality, we need that to survive, right?
Sure.
But in reality, I'm here to put a smile on people's face. I want them to enjoy what I create. So that's basically where I'm at with it. It's not much of the who's who, is them actually enjoying. That's why I would never want to go to what you were saying, to these corporate levels, and not with my brand. I don't see myself wanting to go there.
And it's interesting because that answer sort of dovetailed into my next question.
Okay.
So give me a story, give me a sense of a moment in your career, your fashion, your forward-looking career here, when somebody's smile just made it all worthwhile. Do you have a moment like that?
My son. My son, when he saw someone wearing my clothing out and about in the street.
Really?
My father, once I hit 21, he came here from Panama. We're in a nightclub. I just turned 21. He sees someone wears my clothes. And to see his face, like basically said, son, do you know him? Thinking is one of my friends, and it's not. It's an actual customer. And I'm mingling with the guy wearing my clothes, and he doesn't even know I designed it.
That's amazing.
Yes, so that right there, I think, is probably one of the most fulfilling moments with the clothing that I would say.
No, that's awesome. Those are great stories. See, this is why I love this podcast, right? Because we get this conversation, these stories that aren't usually told.
Right.
These inspirations. I mean, I've had a lot of stories where, highs and lows, right? We all have lows. And, but today's, at least this podcast, I really wanted to focus on a lot of the positivity, because Lino, you really bring that to the table. From the very first moment I met you, I looked over my shoulder and I saw you walk in. You had a smile on your face. You were wearing a messenger bag, I think, or maybe a backpack, I forget. But you were smiles and you were engaging. And so I think that really comes through in your brand, right?
Thank you.
And so I really appreciate your time. And I understand that I have a little bit of a gift here too.
Yes, you do. That's our top selling SSH78 hat.
Good luck.
Awesome. You the man.
I'm ready for the beach. I'm ready for the yacht. Let's go have some time on the yacht and then maybe have a few drinks afterwards.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate your time as well. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care.